All right, so here's why my childhood sucked. My dad's a preacher, right? I had five. What was that?
It was a book.
So you just hear your jeans stretching. They're kind of tight.
So why did your child?
Hold on, I'm waiting.
Anyways,
Did you take your pre-show poop?
you're telling me about your childhood.
We're gonna have to stop. We should just go ahead and stop and turn the fan on because at some point
No.
you're even gonna have to stand up,
No, this will
which
be
means
fine.
you don't even like your own smell. Which that's crazy.
Not even a bad one. It's just a pizza fart.
You
So
can't really smell it. I'm not gonna be able to relax for the whole show. I'm just gonna be waiting for it. This wave of misery is gonna smack me in the face. Maybe I'm stopped up and I didn't know it. Okay. Anyway, Dad's a preacher, right? 5 brothers, 2 sisters. You think I got attention? No one even paid. No one even knew who I
oh
was.
my God, you're really reminding me of Rueben. The way you're.
Rueben. Who's Rueben?
You don't know about Rueben, Joseph's brother?
Joseph. No, I don't know Joseph or Rueben.
Joseph was like the most famous Joseph in the Bible, and Reuben was his like whiny brother who was like, "Oh, I don't get any attention."
Joseph in the Coat of Many Colors.
Look at me, the Electric Dreamcoat, I believe, is what they call the movie.
Yeah. So how do I remind you of Ruben though?
You know the story about the situation with.
Yeah.
It's painfully obvious. I shouldn't have to explain to you.
Yeah, I know the story.
Okay, so let me explain to you how you're exactly like Reuben.
Okay.
Reuben, was mainly famous for making sandwiches. The
Right.
Reuben sandwich.
That's not. I know the story pretty well. Reuben in the Bible had.
Hold
nothing.
on,
They didn't have sandwiches back then.
educating you on Reuben. I don't really think that. I think you
I
probably
know, but
should
it's
do
just
more.
not accurate. They don't have sandwiches in the Bible.
You don't think. I don't want to get into this with you again. This seems like a conversation we have consistently about when sandwiches were invented.
How can I convince you?
You're not going to be able to convince me about who made the sandwiches.
Just because your theory is that people couldn't be so stupid that they would eat meat and cheese and bread without putting it together.
That's not a theory. That's common sense.
I think you're wrong.
And then you were like, "Oh, the Earl of Sandwich. He was famous for making the sandwich."
There's
like,
no like.
okay, did he make a club sandwich? A California club? Did he make the Reuben sandwich? I beg to differ. I bet it was probably Reuben who made the Reuben sandwich, because who the hell would name a sandwich a Reuben unless it was after your own name? Because if I make a sandwich, I'm going to call it the Charlie sandwich.
Okay. Well, maybe, but it could have been a guy named Reuben after the Earl of Sandwich already invented the sandwich, like in the 1800s.
If we're going to talk about theoretical possibilities, I could have won $1 billion last year, but I didn't. I'm sitting here with you on a couch, smelling my own farts.
I'm talking theoretical possibilities. You're talking about Reuben from a Bible story out in the desert. Do they have mayonnaise?
I didn't say mayonnaise. I just said the Reuben sandwich doesn't even have mayonnaise on it. It's like more of a corned beef or a lamb beef.
I don't know that I even had different kinds of beef back then. I think it was just beef.
Well,
there was no corned beef.
Regardless, Reuben, and he was Joseph's older brother, and he complained a lot like you. Bible said he also was bald and loved to drink Miller Lite.
Okay, once again,
I ad-libbed the Miller Lite part, but he's definitely tall and bald.
No, I don't think the Bible specifies.
Said he had kind of a tint of red in his beard.
Oh, really?
And he complained a lot about his other siblings.
An Irish Jew.
Irish Jew.
Okay.
Just like Reuben.
Well, if his siblings farted constantly, then I respect that. You should win. But continue your story.
Well, Ruben is, he's one of 10 or 11 grumpy brothers. I like to stick to the facts.
You don't know how many?
No. Oh, there's 12 tribes.
I mean, I think there's 12.
Yeah,
there's
okay.
12. I mean, I know you're not good at math, but
Well,
that's pretty
for
easy.
someone who doesn't know the story, you sure do chime in a lot with stupid facts that have nothing to do with
I
it.
do know the story.
Well, you
just
don't know
told
the
me,
important
I
part.
just don't know why I remind you of Ruben.
Oh, well, we're going to get there.
Okay.
Number one, you're both good at making sandwiches.
I do make a great sandwich. I made a grilled cheese last night. It gave me diarrhea, but it was worth it.
Grilled cheese, I'd call that like a Sammy sandwich.
Yeah. A Sammy?
Sammy.
Why would you call it a Sammy?
I just feel like somebody named Sammy made the first one.
Okay.
Um,
I don't know. I don't know if that's true, but we'll fact check that too.
Let me get back to how my story correlates with your depravity as a human being.
Mm-hmm.
So this guy named Joseph, he's the favorite. He's just like me. He's like the best looking, the most talented out of all of his siblings. And his brothers were sheep herders. Sheep herders,
yeah.
They went out and they would sheep.
They herded sheep.
They would sheep the herd.
Yep.
Shepherding.
Okay.
I feel like we've talked about this before
We
too. And but the deal was, what's his face? Joe. He was like a stepson because I guess his dad banged this guy, Reuben's mom, a lot, and then he married Joseph's mom. He had like double.
No, I think what happened is he had 10 kids with one woman, and then she either died or he just got another younger, hotter wife, and then had
Wait,
Joseph.
what's the dad's name?
Jacob?
Yeah, Jacob. Good name. No, because he married, it's Leah and Rachel. He married both of them at the same
Yeah,
time.
and Rachel had 2 kids, and Lisa had 10 or something like that.
Yeah. But he married them both at the same
I'm
time.
just trying to keep you at least a little bit accurate to the story.
You're trying to keep me from the facts of the story.
I know you're trying to prove your point. I don't know what you're trying to do, but I just want to.
I'm trying to educate you.
Just stick to the facts.
I'm trying to tell you how important the story, how it applies to you about terrible people and how you're pretty much the same person.
Okay. All right. Well,
except for being good at making sandwiches. Like, that's a good thing.
That is a positive quality.
Anyways, Ruben is like, they're out there working. All him and his other brothers are like, man, Joseph sucks. They have like very limited vocabulary. Like, we should kill that guy because.
We should kill that guy?
Yeah, they don't like
I
him.
didn't talk about killing my brothers and sisters. I don't.
Can I tell the story and then I'll tell you? We can pick out.
So it was Reuben's idea to kill his brother.
Not Reuben at this point.
Okay.
The other brothers, they don't like Joe because he's always flaunting his stuff. They have to go out and work, and the dad's like, no, Joe, he doesn't have to work because he's my favorite son.
Well, that kind of pissed me off.
Joseph knew how to read and stuff. The rest of the brothers, Reuben, super stupid.
Nothing makes someone angrier than when you read right in front of them and they can't read. Have you ever done that before?
Oh, I do it all the time.
Oh, I didn't think you could read.
I got books all over the place.
I know you have books, but that doesn't mean you can read.
It's a big one. Anyways, Joseph was like, they don't like him because he's always prancing around. His dad
doesn't have to work.
Doesn't have to work. He's
I
kind
don't
of
really like
spoiled rotten. And Reuben can't read. Very stupid. And
all right, so
anyway,
I'm just keeping track of
don't worry.
Qualities Reuben has.
I'll tie it all together for you. You don't even have to. I'll keep track.
So far, I'm not really seeing it at all. But go ahead.
What about the sandwich thing? You agree with me there?
Well, I disagreed that there were even sandwiches, but since it was a positive, I just kind of took it and ran.
Wow.
But so far, very limited correlation between Ruben and I. So I'm interested. Go ahead.
Kids are out in the field. All the older brothers are. And they're all talking one day like, man, Joseph, we don't like him. Like, we should probably get rid of him because Dad's probably going to leave him all the inheritance. And he's super annoying. About this time, Jacob, also great guy.
Not a great guy.
He gives Joseph a coat of many colors. I'm gonna say probably
like a rainbow coat,
like a Louis Vuitton, like leather, like Italian, Middle Eastern Italian, probably made out of lamb skin.
Yeah,
which is lamb is kind of from the Shep family. They had tons of them out there. So Joseph's like, you know what? I'm gonna go check on my brothers. They're kind of far away. They've been out there. I'll take them some Reuben sandwiches that my brother made, and I'll check in on them.
So Rueben made the sandwiches and then forgot them.
Well, as today he invented them, and then they were so popular. Just like today, you can go into a Jason's Deli and order a Reuben, and they'll bring it out to you. Or so it was popular. So they're like, "Can I have a Reuben, please?" You don't just call it a sandwich if it was a Reuben sandwich. You call it that, like grilled cheese, Reuben.
You don't think they said? I mean, assuming sandwiches were invented, they wouldn't have just said a mutton sandwich.
No, that sounds terrible. Like Reuben kind of rolls off the tongue.
It does.
Not to mention, like Reuben kind of had an anger problem, and so they tried to build him up by like, "Hey, Reuben, I know you can't read, but we're going to name this sandwich after you, the Reuben sandwich."
Said nobody. First of all, nobody could read. But anyway, go ahead.
Someone had to read because someone wrote this story.
Jacob couldn't read.
We don't know that.
I'm pretty sure he couldn't read. God always spoke to him. Moses was the only one that could read.
Well, it's because Moses had a stuttering problem. He's like,
yeah, that's a whole nother story. All right, continue.
So Joseph takes his fancy coat and he's like, "I'm going to go see my brothers." Well, they've been working really hard out in the fields, shepherding. They see him coming and they're like, "We should kill this guy." And Reuben, he's like, "Yeah, I don't like him either, but I am going bald. And so I don't think we should kill him."
Listen, I mean,
I'm
fine with you like taking liberties with the story. But
I'm not taking liberties.
You're comparing me to Reuben and then just saying only negative things that aren't in the story about Reuben.
I don't view baldness as a negative. I wish I was bald.
Well, you could be.
No, I have to keep shaving it every day. You just get to sit there like a cancer patient and just enjoy it.
Okay. All right. So the guy, they're talking about killing Joseph again.
They're talking about killing Joseph. Joseph shows up and he's like, "Hey guys, look at my coat. Here's some Reubens."
How big was the flock that it needed 10 shepherds?
It was a huge flock. When they're that big, they call them the mother flock.
I mean,
the guys who take care of them are mother flockers.
David, shouldn't they have a
mothership?
Different name? I don't think that's true.
That's just what they did in Hebrew time, so it might have changed since then. But it was kind of slang for like really big flock.
I've never heard.
Huge flock, as Donald would say.
I'm gonna have to look that up. But
wouldn't they be flocking their sheep? No, that's the Iranians.
Like beating them up, flocking them.
A flock of sheep. You got.
And a flock of seagulls.
And a flock of seagulls, but we know
it's not. It is a flock.
Yeah, flock.
Is that the only land animal they call a flock?
Flock of geese. They live on the land.
No, they're a bird.
Flock of moose.
Yeah.
Moose flock.
I think flock's underused.
Well, maybe. I saw a flock of wolves the other day. They were just running next to the shore, jumped on an antelope and ate it.
Maybe there has to be a certain number to make it a flock. But I've never heard anyone say a pack of sheep.
Pack of sheep? Herd of sheep? To be honest with you, other than you and I's conversation, no one talks about sheep.
No. Or sheep herding.
It's really the only time I get to talk about sheep herding, flocking, sheep flocking, lamb flocking, mutton sandwiches. Kind of
that doesn't come up in normal conversation.
You can say they're the real Reubens of the family, just kind of left out and degraded, and nobody likes them.
All right. So they're talking about killing Joseph.
Talk about killing him. They're like, you know what? Here's what we could do. Dad's always pawning over him. They grab Joseph, they throw him in a pit, and they're like, what should we do with him? Should we kill him? And I think they throw him in there because he was kind of like, hey, look at my coat. And they're out there. None of them had coats because it was the desert, but it actually gets cold in the desert. So when they all left in the daytime, they're like, well, it's warm outside. We don't need coats. And then it got night, and they're like, oh, it's really cold. And then Joseph's like, oh, look at my coat. So, but he had never had to be out there in the daytime with the sheep because he didn't have to work.
I didn't know there's that many details in the story.
The Bible, you got to read between the lines. Like I told you before, it never says anyone took a dump, but we know that for 5,000 years, someone had to take a dump. And just because it's not in the Bible doesn't mean it didn't happen.
I will give you that point.
So I'm filling in some of the details it left out that it didn't deem important, but it's got to be important because you just don't see somebody and take their jacket and throw them in unless you need a jacket.
Right. But
unless they're really annoying.
Did they share the jacket?
Well, I'm assuming they'd all wear it for a little bit and then pass it around.
Okay.
But Rueben was actually the one who was like, guys, there's 10 of us. Like, it's going to take forever to wear this jacket. Uh-huh. So instead of us just sharing the jacket, let's cover it with blood. We'll take it back to Dad, tell him that Joseph must have got eaten by a lion.
So Rueben didn't come up with the plan, but he came up with the cover-up.
Well, at this point, they were going to kill him. And Rueben was like talking about, could have been Rueben. I actually don't know if I should give him that much credit because since he couldn't read.
Sounds kind of smart.
Yeah, that's too much credit. All right, I'll give him that credit.
I
mean, he was an inventor. So, the sandwich thing.
Oh, yeah.
Anyway, so they're about to kill him, and Reuben's like, you know what, guys? I don't know if we should kill our brother. Now it set a bad precedent since there's a lot of us left. We could end up killing more of us, and since I'm the most unathletic of the family, I'm worried about you guys killing me.
I see what you're doing.
I'm not doing it.
Rueben and I, and then you start going on your little rants.
I'm telling
the story, and all of a sudden Reuben's bald and non-athletic. And it has a small penis. I mean, what are we doing here?
We haven't even got to that part yet, but
so far you haven't told me anything from the story I didn't already know, other than stuff that's not true.
The Rueben sandwich?
It's not true, bro.
You can argue with history all you want.
Okay.
Anyways, let's get back to the story because I haven't even figured out how to tie it in yet.
Okay.
Rueben is like, before we kill him, look, there's a bunch of people traders over there, like people herders, perpetrators,
slave owners,
slave herders, slubbers,
slava herders.
So we could just sell Joseph to those people. We won't have to worry about him anymore. So
that was Reuben's idea?
Yeah, it was Reuben's idea.
Well, that's kind of evil.
Well,
once again,
a little bit better than killing them, I guess, though.
That's true.
Good job.
Yeah.
So
all right.
They sell him off to the people herders, and they go back, tell their father that he died. They're like, now we don't have to worry about him anymore. We don't have to hear Dad talking about how great Joseph's so good at everything, like wearing jackets and stuff. And they're like, here's a bloody jacket, sir.
So they told him he was dead.
They told him he was dead. They didn't want to tell him that he sold him off because that would have pissed him off.
Yeah. How did they say he died?
So he got eaten by a wild animal.
Like his whole body? Like they didn't find anything?
They just had the blood, but back then it was, unless you were David, it was tough to kill bears and lions. And no offense to Joseph, but he was kind of a ladies' man, like wearing a multicolored jacket, had soft hands, and painted his fingernails probably.
Yeah, I really don't like Joseph that much.
Yeah, he sounded like a big girl. And he was talking to his brothers like, oh, you guys suck. So I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And I mean, he was better than them, especially Rueben, but you don't need to hear that all the time.
Right.
Joseph ends up getting sold to a guy named Potiphar.
Right.
Or Mr. Potter.
Yeah, with the hot wife, huh?
No, this is, Potter. He's the same one from that George Bailey movie. He owned kind of an evil guy, but he's rich and powerful.
Mr. Potter, and he's in a wheelchair.
Oh, no, you're right.
Yeah.
This is Mr. Potiphar, and he's like captain of the king's guard, and he's in Egypt. And he becomes like the handmaiden.
Egypt, which ruled the whole Middle East at the time.
Egypt was big time back then. Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of good things happening. They're building
Yeah.
pyramids.
Aliens were building pyramids.
Tons of slaves back then.
Yeah.
Except they had a lot of Jew slaves. So he's a slave in their house, in Potiphar's house. And Potiphar's got this foxy wife who's trying to bang Joseph because I think she's a lesbian. She can see that he really likes wearing fancy clothes and painting his fingernails.
The Bible doesn't mention that.
No, it doesn't. But it's like, well, like she's
you're reading between the lines.
reading between the lines a little bit.
Okay.
She might not be. Anyways, she's trying to jump his
I
bones.
actually don't mind that one.
Joseph's like, well, I am not a lady, ma'am, so don't touch me. And she's like, oh, yes, you are.
Oh, because he was so pampered.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was he still pampered as a slave?
He's pretty pampered. Like, she's dressing him up like a lady.
Like Potiphar could tell that, oh, this is a pampered slave. I better keep him in the house.
Potiphar thought he'd bought a woman slave, so he thought he'd be safe around his wife, because that's how pretty Joseph was.
Okay.
Anyway, so Joe, his wife keeps coming on to Potiphar's wife.
Potiphar didn't know his wife was a lesbian.
Correct. He would have never married her.
Right. Of course.
Egyptian lesbians.
Yeah.
Not good.
Yeah.
So Potiphar,
so his wife's trying to bang. Yeah.
Yeah, just trying to bang on Joseph. He's not having it.
Mm-hmm.
So finally one day she's like, gets tired of being rejected, and she's like, oh, Potiphar, this man, lady, tried to scissor me. And Joseph's like, no, I didn't. I'm a man. And Potiphar's
she started the Me Too movement.
She's like, hashtag me too. But Joseph's like, no, me too. I'm the one who's getting molested here.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah, it's about time a man spoke up.
They didn't know he was a man, though, so he identified as a man, but they're like, he must be a woman. He's so pretty.
It gets complicated.
Right about this time, Reuben is back home doing nothing, just being lazy. It's a side note. So Joseph is...
Did you say Reuben? Reuben was home being lazy?
Yeah. Back
I know
home.
you're just being funny right now, but but you're trying to kind of push my brain, give a negative connotation to Reuben this whole time.
I'm feeling
he really hasn't done anything wrong. He kind of saved his brother's life.
I haven't said he did. I just said you're kind of like Reuben, and I was just telling
he
a story.
He sold him into slavery, but maybe he thought Joseph needed to be toughened up a little bit. You know? Maybe he did it for his own good.
Well, he's home being lazy right now while Joseph is getting thrown in prison because Potiphar's wife is accusing him of trying to bang her. So now he's in prison. He's been thrown in a pit, almost killed by his brothers. Then he's traded into slavery. Then he gets accused of a crime he didn't commit. Now he's in prison.
Hold on. You forgot to mention he was a pretty good slave, evidently.
Great slave.
Yeah. Because Potiphar liked him, right?
Everybody liked him, mainly because he's just good looking. He's kind of like a young Brad Pitt. So hard. You doesn't even have to say anything or have much of a personality. Just kind of like.
You think Potiphar was banging Joseph?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. He just moved up really fast, in the ranks. It's, kind of like it could have been the Harvey Weinstein situation.
Well, I feel like Potiphar's never home, and the wife was kind of running things.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So Joseph's in jail.
Joseph's in jail. He's a really good prisoner now. Good slave.
Interesting.
The only thing he really hasn't been good at, he wasn't a very good brother, but he's been a good slave. Now he's in prison. He's a great prisoner. Over time, he takes over where he's like in charge of the prison because he's so capable, and everyone knows he's too dainty to leave. He also can interpret dreams, so he kind of humbles himself over this. Cocky Reuben's back home just doing nothing. Joseph's kind of growing as a person, and he one day he interprets the dreams of these guys, and gosh, this story goes on for
the crazy thing isn't that you're comparing me to Reuben, but I feel like you're comparing yourself to Joseph.
Joseph is abused, but now he's really good looking, and then he's just growing as a person, and he's eventually going to save the world. But
so he's interpreting dreams.
Yeah, well, the king sends these guys down, his butcher and his baker and his candlestick maker, sends him to prison for who knows what. He's the Pharaoh, so Pharaoh's kind of another word for king.
Okay.
Reuben didn't know it because he can't read.
He couldn't have heard it. Like,
Reuben had terrible hearing.
somebody could have been like, the
Everyone-
Egyptians ruled everything. Someone would have probably been like, hey, Pharaoh decreed this. And wouldn't he be like,
No,
what's a Pharaoh? And they'd be like, it's a king.
they all say Reuben's hearing went with his hair. That's what everyone used to say back then. Like, wow, he used to be able to, he used to have a full head of hair and could hear really well.
So he was deaf and couldn't read.
Yeah, because he was like, hey, Joseph.
Interesting.
Anyways,
Continue.
Joseph.
I'm not really seeing your point, but keep going.
Well, he's in there with the baker, and the baker's like, man, I can't sleep. I had a really bad dream. And Joseph's like, what happened in your dream? And he's like, well, I'm the baker, and I had a dream that I got killed. And
If I would have known this story was going to take this long, I would have never agreed.
I don't even remember how I was correlating with it at the beginning.
I don't either. You keep talking crap about Ruben,
Right.
but he's not even really a part of the story.
Well,
And I don't see how I'm comparable to him in any way, other than the things you've made up about him.
let me just fast forward a little bit.
Okay, please.
Joseph
Please.
interprets a bunch of dreams.
Right.
Pharaoh hears about it.
Pharaoh likes him.
Pharaoh's like, can you interpret my dreams? And
He's like, yeah.
he's from the southern Middle East. So he's like, hey, Joseph, because Egypt's down south from the Middle East.
Okay.
Hey, Joseph, can you interpret my
That
dreams?
is not a southern accent.
Hey,
That's a Forrest Gump accent.
Joseph,
Okay.
Joseph, can you interpret my dreams?
It kind of just sounds like that's how you normally talk.
No, I talk very proper.
Okay.
So Pharaoh and Joseph's like, yeah, man, I'll interpret your dreams because, I'm here to help people. And at this time, Joseph's super buff because he's been working out in prison, solving people's dreams.
Okay.
He interprets Pharaoh's dream, which basically the dream was everybody's about to have a famine.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to have 7 good years, then 7 bad years. So start saving your money and your food because you're going to need it.
That was the interpretation of the dream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dream had a bunch of cows and corn eating each other. And
Yeah.
it was weird.
Yeah. So Joseph interpreted that dream.
He interpreted that dream and told him, like, here's what the dream
And
is.
then what happened?
Pharaoh was like, wow, I'm going to put you in charge of everything because you're super smart. I got a bunch of Reubens running around here, don't know what's going on.
Uh-huh.
So I think you can save this whole land by taking over. So, and then Pharaoh's like, you want a sandwich? What kind? It's like, Reuben. He's like, oh, you guys have these here too. He's like, yeah, they're delicious.
Okay.
I don't know what type of sandwich it was. I'm just assuming it was Reuben because of the popularity at the time.
Yeah.
So,
They didn't eat sandwiches.
anyways, the whole nation goes into famine 7 years later.
Yeah.
Egypt's the only one with food because Joseph's so smart.
They saved all their food.
Yeah, they saved it up. So Joseph's brothers now, they're super old. They got families and stuff, but they're out of food back in the Jewish land, Israel, up in the upper Middle East, the northern Middle East.
Well, there really wasn't an Israel yet because,
I guess Jacob was Israel, so they're kind of like they're just Jewish people.
there were no tribes yet because they were all still just sons
They were
of
the
Jacob.
tribes.
Yeah.
So the whole,
Kind of got you on that one, right?
that's an unimportant fact.
Okay.
If it even is a fact, we don't know the timelines to be sure.
You just said a nation existed well before it did. And it's like the whole story is...
Agree to disagree.
Okay.
So they come down there for food, and they're like, hey, listen, Egypt's, we need some food. Can you help us out? And they're like, yeah, you got to go see this guy named... They changed Joseph's name to something else, like something fancy, Egyptian.
You're telling the story.
Captain. They're like,
They call him the captain.
was it Captain?
Well, now you want to be like correct. I'm just giving you something we could call him. It was something like that.
All right. They don't know what his name was, but they changed it to like Marty. And they're like, go see Marty, not Joseph. And so since it'd been a long time and he'd been working out a lot.
Siri, what was Joseph from the Bible's Egyptian name? You want to read that right there?
Zaphanath Paneah. That's what I thought.
That's exactly
So
right.
he changed his name from Joseph to Zaphanath
On
Paneah.
the tip of your tongue.
Zaphanath Paneah.
Yeah.
And then Zaphanath Paneah bread.
Okay.
After Reuben's success, he
Panera
opened up a
bread.
Paneah bread out there. The American version, as you know, is called
Okay.
Panera bread.
Okay.
Part of the rich Jewish history
Of sandwiches.
sandwiches.
Okay.
So Zaphanath Paneah, they're like, go talk to him about food. Well, they all walk in there and they see him. He's all dressed like a king because he's like in charge of the whole kingdom now, except for Pharaoh. But Pharaoh's lazy. He's real Reuben. And they're like, hey, can we get some food? Well, Joseph.
Pharaoh's lazy.
Yeah.
Maybe he's just a good delegator.
They're like, can we have some food? And Joseph immediately recognizes him. He's like, hey, Reuben, you a-hole. No, he drags it out a little bit. Anyways.
He specifically went after Reuben?
Hated Reuben. Hated him. I wish I could remember any of the other brothers' names, but I can't. I guess there's Levi, Bob, Jim.
There's no Bob or Jim. 12 tribes of Israel. Well, number 1 would be Israel.
Israel was Jacob's name.
Oh.
Well,
Benjamin. That was the youngest one.
that was Joseph's real brother.
Yeah, full brother.
Joseph ends up pretending like he doesn't know him, and then he gives them grain, food, and he hides his cup in their bags and their money, and then they leave, and he accuses them of stealing. So he makes them come back, and he holds one of the brothers captives.
Oh, wow. Which one?
Probably
the youngest one, right?
Reuben, hopefully.
No, the dad's favorite.
No, Benjamin was later because they didn't bring Benjamin.
Oh, yeah.
And he's like, go back, bring me Benjamin. Don't
This
you
is
have
where
another
he
brother?
Puts the gold in their sacks of grain.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Anyways, basically, Jack's with him, makes him feel terrible, and then
He's kind of a terrible brother again.
but he was teaching them a lesson.
Oh.
A lesson.
Just like Reuben.
Just
taught
like
him
you're
by
learning a
sowing him.
lesson right now from me.
Okay, I'm learning a lesson.
So Joseph brings them all to Egypt, tells them, hey, I'm your brother. They all apologize, especially Reuben. And he gives them the best land and food, and they all live happily ever after.
I don't remember Reuben apologizing.
And that's how you're like Reuben, complaining about.
Yeah, Reuben didn't complain. He sold his brother into slavery. I didn't do anything like that.
Well, I remember a time when I had a pair of socks, and I went to put them on, and they were missing the next day. So I don't know who took them, but I remember you were wearing some just like them. Does that sound familiar?
What does that have to do with selling someone into slavery?
Well, it's a form of thievery. Just like you're stealing somebody's life and putting them into slavery, stealing someone's socks. A crime's a crime.
Okay, well, Joseph kind of comes out as the bad guy in that story to me.
Joseph saved the whole world.
He's prancing around in his coat. He's soft. He's not working hard. If your brothers hate you so much they throw you in a pit, that's kind of your fault. Right?
So was it the Jews' fault when Hitler threw them in the ovens?
Well, that's kind of different.
Is it?
Okay.
Join us next week for another historical lesson right here.
Yeah, right here.
Call this show The Education of Zach.
Okay. All right. We'll call it Charlie's Bullshit.